Hello and welcome back to video 3 in the Productive Creative mini class. I'm Dr. Minette Riordan, the founder of the Path to Profit Academy, the Creative Business Accelerator, and creator of the Visual Business Map Blueprint that I introduced to you in videos 1 and 2 in this training. And I want to say thank you, first of all, for coming back to watch video 3. And I'm super excited because I think this may be the most important part of this mini course. This is where I'm really going to start to tie all the pieces together for you in a way that hopefully is going to have you going, that's how I get it all done. Because whatever stage of building a business we find ourselves in, it's challenging. We can all use more productivity. And what we all need is usually a little bit more planning in the different areas of our business. But where do you get started? And how do you take that beautiful visual business plan that you created it and turn it into an action plan? Like, what are the next steps? So if you're feeling really curious about, okay, I've got the plan, now what? Then you're in the right place. And if you haven't watched videos 1 and 2, I would invite you to pause this video right now and make sure you go back and watch those first, because they're an important part of the process and journey that we're on together in these 3 videos. And I want to do a quick recap of videos 1 and 2 before we dive into our content today. So in video 1, what we covered was the inside out part of building your business. So we talked about your financial goals, your unique brilliance, why you? We talked about core values, and we talked about your big why, which is that thing that's going to keep you going even when the going gets rough. So after just looking at those 4 pieces, you're probably already having so much more clarity around what it is that you're building and why, and what the impact is that you want to have on the world. Remember that I believe that as creatives, we have the power to change the world, that collectively the energy of our ability to solve problems is magical and enormous, but we need the confidence to make that happen. And in video 2, we looked at the outer circle of our visual business plan and all the things in the external world that need to happen in order for us to get rid of overwhelm, some of that frustration, and to start to really maximize our profitability and minimize our stress when it comes to building our business. And the most important aspect of that video was really getting the fact that you need to know who your ideal clients are and what problems you're solving for them. Once you know that piece, and once you know your numbers and a little bit about the direction that you're going, everything starts to work like magic. You know who you're speaking to, you know what to say to them. It takes so much of the concern or the feeling tongue-tied or that lack of confidence away when you're crystal clear about where you're going and who you're serving. And as I said in video 3, I'm going to be focused on what do you do next. So I want you to pause for a moment if you haven't yet and download the handout just below this video. It's going to walk you through our Confident Creative Entrepreneurs Productivity System. This is the magic part of the whole process where you will have the exact 7 steps you need to be doing every single year in your business in order to build and scale the type of business that you want to have. So again, go ahead and take a moment and download that handout. I'll be right here waiting for you when you get back. And before we dive into the content, now that you've opened the workbook, I have a little warning for you. You're going to be tempted to just sit there and read through all of the descriptions. Please don't. You will have plenty of time to do that after the video. So here's the thing. Every single one of the steps of that process are super, super important, and I'm going to walk you through each of the steps. But I'm going to also give you the 20% that will give you 80% of the results. You may have heard of the 80-20 principle in business, where 20% of the effort produces 80% of the results. I want to make sure that you're focused on the most important part of the process, the biggest step that will give you the biggest impact. That's what I'll be covering as we go through the Confident Creative Entrepreneurs Productivity System. The Confident Creative Entrepreneurs Productivity System. So I named all these things really long, didn't I? Anyway, I'm going to give you a simple simple 7-step process for learning how to plan every single aspect of your business so that you never wake up going, I don't know what to do today to grow my business, but you know exactly what to do. And because you know exactly what to do, you have more productivity, you have more clarity, more confidence, and most importantly, perhaps you have more creativity and more spaciousness in your business for getting into those moments of flow where you're getting to do your best work. Because that deep fulfillment in growing your business comes when you're doing your best work. All right, so let's dive into our content for today. And I'm going to be looking down a little bit at my notes, so bear with me. And you can see up here on the screen a nice visual of the Confident Creative Entrepreneur's productivity system. And I cannot tell you how excited I am to share this content with you, because I know what an impact it's going to have when you understand the planning process and you see that it is a simple process of setting yourself up for success that starts at the beginning of the year and continues on throughout the rest of the year to make sure that you're consistently staying on track with your dreams and especially with your financial goals for your business. So the first step is about mindset. And I was talking to one of my amazing clients who's a graphic designer, and I was showing her this graphic. This is actually one of the first times that we've shared this out in public. And so I was sharing it with her. And I told her that step one is mindset. And she started laughing and she said, mindset needs to be ongoing, something that we're working on all the time. And I giggled because you'll notice in the handout that it says ongoing right at the bottom of step one. So yes, when it comes to building your creative business and being productive, it is all about the mindset, about how you're feeling, about how you're being in your business. And so this part is essential to getting it all rolling in the right direction. And to make it a little bit easier to get started with the mindset piece, as it relates to productivity, we actually have an awesome assessment. Some of you that are watching may have already taken our unique productivity style assessment, and some of you may have not. So you will notice that just below the handout, the link to download the handout, there's actually a second link just below the video that says discover your unique productivity style. So you don't need to go take the quiz right now. It's really important that you just go ahead and watch the rest of the video, and it will make sense that you can take the quiz later on. So don't worry if you haven't taken it. It's not totally important right this very second, if that makes any sense. I think it makes sense, but I'm going to keep going anyway. So the first thing is to understand how you are most productive and what your biggest mental blocks are to productivity. And I'm going to share more about that in a little bit when I get to that 20% that's going to make everything go faster for you. But first, I want to share all 7 steps, and then I'm going to dig into the mindset step a little bit more deeply. So step 1 is discover your mindset and get clear about your unique productivity style and how that's impacting your ability to get things done in your business. So step 2, and this is actually a relatively new step that Brad and I personally have added to our business, and it's been so impactful that we felt it was really important that we add it to our planning for our clients as well. And that's to define your 3-year vision. So in videos 1 and 2, we talked about your 1-page business plan. But if we back that up for just a minute and we think about, is this 1-year plan going to get us to where we want to be 3 years down the road? It's important to ask yourself these questions. Remember, so much of what I want you to really take away from this mini class is how to step outside of the day-to-day running and working in your business and really look at the landscape of your business. Look at where you are sitting now and where's the journey? What's the path? What are the hills and valleys that you're going to be crossing to get from where you're sitting right now today in this moment all the way to this beautiful, vivid vision of what it is that you want to create a couple of years from now? So that's step 2. Step 3, I love this. You've already done step 3. And yes, sometimes we do these steps out of order, but only this one. This is the only step that is important to take out of order. You can do this one first because this one gives you so much clarity, and you can back into sometimes that 3-year vision, and you're going to be doing the mindset and the productivity style stuff all the time anyway. So if you wanted to pick a quick place to start, and that 20% that's most important, guess what? You've already done it. What a celebration, right? So just notice how good it feels to realize that you're already on the path. And maybe you've already taken the productivity style quiz as well, which you've done 2 out of the first 3 steps. How awesome does it feel to have these wins under your belt already? So step 3 is your 1-year plan. Step 4 is your strategy. So it's important when you're building a business to get clear about the layers of planning and the difference between a plan, a strategy, a tactic, and a to-do. So there's all these different types of planning that need to happen, and they all almost like they flow through a funnel from this big landscape picture down to the what do I need to do right now to grow this crazy business, right? So it's so important to understand the different layers of planning and how they work together. So the strategy area is where usually for about a quarter, sometimes it could be longer, you're gonna pick key areas of focus from your 1-page business plan that are the most important areas to build. So we've been doing a lot of foundation building in our business right now. So we've been looking at the key resources, the support, and our cost of doing business, and spending a lot of time in the bottom of our business plan. And we also just completely redid the center of our business plan. We revisited our core values, our financial goals, our why, and we had this realization that it was time to shift to some new key areas of focus for what it is that we're doing right now. So this is a great tool to do once a quarter to just look at what is the most important thing for me to focus on to move my business forward. Number 5 on the list is project plans and timelines. So now you've got this key area of focus and this clear strategy for where you're going. How do you get there? You start with the end in mind and you work your way backwards. So this is where we in the Creative Business Accelerator really are proponents of project plans, which is something that Brad brought to the business from his software days, and helping you understand how to create a project and how to set up timelines with measurable goals and results and costs, like all the nitty-gritty details of launching something new in your business. Because what I realized is that if you're just working from where you are, trying to go to get ahead, that's where the overwhelm and the confusion sets in. And so it's essential that you have deadlines out in front of you and you work backwards. So having a clear timeline of when things need to happen is really important. This mini class is a great example. We started working on this 3 months ago, I think, and we have put a lot of time in every single week to the different pieces of putting this mini course together for you, which includes the videos like I'm doing right now, all the emails, the web pages, the Facebook ads. However you got here, it was because we did a lot of work in the background and we relied on our timelines to make sure that we hit the mark and stayed on task and on track. I am the queen of distraction. I can get excited by a new idea and want to go dashing off down a new path or take a completely new direction, and it doesn't serve us in our business. So learning how to stay on track has a lot to do with project planning and with timelines. And then once you have timelines, guess what? It's really easy to manage your time. I've noticed in our Productivity for Creative Entrepreneurs, for Creative Business Owners Facebook group, that I have a couple of questions that I ask people about what's your biggest productivity challenge. And one of the most common responses that I get is time management. Well, we struggle with time management when we're really not clear about the scope of the work that needs to be done. And when we have clear timelines and project plans in place, we don't have challenges with scope creep. We don't have projects that take way longer. We learn how to be better estimators of how much time it's going to take to complete a project. And time management gets simple when you can look at those timelines and block time in your calendar to make the work happen. And I get a lot of resistance from creatives who think that time blocking and time management is going to limit their creative flow. Well, I'm here to tell you it's not the truth at all. In fact, the more that you actually structure your time and create bigger blocks and stake a claim for your own creative time, then the more flow that you have. One of my mentors used to say that systems liberate you. And I was like, what? And I was resistant and I fought against it. And I have learned that with inside of systems, there's actually an amazing amount of freedom and way more opportunity for flow to do my most important creative work. And I have become a just avid fan of time blocking as the most important tool to really move your business forward. And setting up time blocks doesn't mean dictating what's going to happen inside that time block. It just means that you're saving time to do your creative work. You're blocking the time out. You usually have a list of projects that you need to work on. If you block the time, then you will make them all happen. This is amazing. It absolutely works like magic, and it will eliminate your headaches and frustrations around time management. And then the final step, step 7, is what I call action and accountability. This is about managing your tasks we use a process called the Daily Big Six, where you aren't putting more than 6 things on your to-do list at a time. Along with the time blocking, this works like magic to really take control of your time, to take back your time so that you're getting your most important work done. And this is our simple 7-step process. And you'll notice that each one of these has a time of year or day or week or month when it needs to happen. These aren't things that you're not working the entire wheel all at the same time. Some of them you get to kind of set them and forget about them, like your 3-year vision. You get to do that once every 3 years. Your 1-page visual business plan once a year. Strategic planning happens once a quarter. You can make a couple of hours once a quarter to get this aerial view of what's happening and what you need to focus on. And then from there, you can look at your projects and your timelines and your time management on a monthly, weekly, and daily basis so that every day it's clear what it is that you need to accomplish. I promised that I would share with you the 20% of effort that will make everything else flow so much easier and will make taking back your time and maximizing your productivity so much easier. And it's about step 1 of our 7-step system. So by now you've seen your visual business plan. You have a good sense of where it is that you're going. You've also had a short introduction to the 7 different types of planning that need to happen on an annual, or in some cases every 3 years in your business. And yet you may be looking at it feeling a little overwhelmed, a little intimidated, wondering, how am I going to get all this planning done? I'm already so busy, I don't even know which way is up half the time. So this is for you in particular if you're feeling really overwhelmed by the fact that you have this beautiful vision and you can see so clearly what it's going to look like out there in the distance. But right here, right now, you're going, it's so far away. I don't know how I'm going to get there. So here's the thing that you need to understand about productivity. There's a reason why all of those courses, planners, apps, tools don't work for you as a creative. because everybody's productivity style is unique. And it's why I created the unique productivity style indicator. And you'll find the handout and the link for that just below this video. It's okay if you haven't taken it yet. You don't need to go do that right now. You can do it after the video. I promise you're going to be really curious to take it. And if you have taken it already and that's how you found your way to the Productive Creative mini class, then awesome. It's perfect either way. But what I want you to think about is how you relate to time, to tasks, to stress, and to people is unique according to your productivity style. No two people approach planning, systems, strategy, task, focus, environment in the same way. We all approach it in a way that showcases our unique blend of abilities and talents and genius, as well as our struggles and challenges when it comes to productivity. So in your handouts, in your workbooks on page 5, you will see the 9 pillars of productivity. And I created these 9 pillars of productivity to show you what the key areas are that you need to pay attention to when it comes to designing a productivity system that works for you personally and with your particular style. So in a little bit, you'll also see that on page 6, there's a chart that shows each of the 4 productivity styles and how they relate to what I call the 9 pillars of productivity. So I'm just going to share with you what those 9 pillars are. Again, I don't have time to go in depth into them, but there's descriptions of each of them in your handout, so you can see that. But the 9 pillars of productivity are environment, energy, boundaries, support, goal setting, planning, systems, tasks, and focus. And even without having taken the productivity style indicator, you may be looking at these key areas of productivity and noticing instantly that, yep, I got that, and noticing others where you're like, definitely need some support there. So what do you do with all of this information? You've got the information from the productivity style indicator, and you have these 9 pillars of productivity according to your particular style. Well, here's where it gets really powerful and where the mindset magic has to happen. You have to accept responsibility for who you are. And it's easier said than done. We all have stories that we love to tell ourselves. We all have myths that we believe to be true about our time management. Most of us are bleeding time in a variety of different ways that we're not even really conscious of. So there's a simple 3-step process, and this is also outlined on page 5 in your handout, that you're going to do with each of these 9 pillars to determine what's holding you back from truly being the productive, creative business owner that you want to be. And that process is assess, align, and design. So what do I mean by that? So what I mean by that is you want to first look at the chart on page 6 and just assess. Am I doing awesome in 5 of the pillars, but there's 4 of them that I'm still struggling with? Is there one in particular that my particular style tends to be really challenged by when it comes to productivity? So first, you just want to get a sense of who you are being in relationship to each of the 9 pillars. It's pretty simple. I've done most of the work for you. So it's just about noticing and reading through the chart and going, yep, that's me. Nope, that's not me. Second, you want to make sure that your desire for increased productivity is actually aligned with your lifestyle and business goals. We spent the last 2 videos talking through and doing a bunch of work to create your visual business plan. And you probably have this beautiful, amazing vision, and it feels pretty far away in the future. Like it's exciting and you're motivated, but maybe you're feeling still a bit overwhelmed about how do I make all this happen? So first is just assessing where are you according to each of the 9 pillars. It's aligning your habits, your goals, and your desires with your vision for what it is that you're creating your business, and asking yourself that all-important question, am I clear about what I'm supposed to be doing? Because remember, clarity is 9/10 of the battle when it comes to building that thriving, profitable, flourishing business that I've been talking about for the last couple of videos. And there's something masterful that happens related to confidence when we take control of our issues around productivity and time management, when we really step into and own the space of leadership in our company, when we're clear about what we want to be focusing on, everything changes and suddenly new opportunities appear and there's more spaciousness in your time and your calendar, which leads me to step 3 of the process, which is called design. And what do I mean by design? I mean that you have the power, the choice, and the control as an entrepreneur who works for herself to design your days to be exactly the way that you want them and the way that will maximize your productivity according to each of the 9 pillars. Energy is such a great example of that. When is your best time of day to do certain tasks and work in your business? You might need to shift when you're working on a particular task in order to maximize productivity, to increase focus, and to feel like you have, that it's easier to step into that place of flow. And the design piece also includes time blocking in your calendar. We talked about that in step 6 of our process, about how important claiming time in your calendar is. And this includes claiming time in your calendar to work on these 9 pillars of productivity. So if you know that you're stuck with planning, or you know that your goals aren't clear enough, you can carve time out in your calendar to do some of this mindset work. Because I can tell you honestly, I've been doing this for 17 years, learning to manage my energy, learning to manage my tendency towards being a workaholic. It's challenging, but I have realized that I get to design my day however I want, but I have to be intentional and I have to be focused. And I have to feel like I'm on purpose with the work that I'm doing. Otherwise, I'm not going to stick to it. And when we're confused or things are chaotic or we're letting people fill our calendar instead of our most important work, then it tends to all fall apart. And I don't want that for you. I want you to have the clarity and the confidence to stand in a space of leadership in your business, to give yourself the opportunity to step up and out and to see the landscape of your business so that you know what needs to be happening on a daily basis. And when you combine these different planning tools that we've outlined in that 7-step process with a day that's perfectly suited to your unique productivity style, that's when everything begins to shift and change and you begin to maximize your productivity. And when you maximize your productivity, you actually learn to let go of things that are no longer serving you, tasks that are no longer serving you, unfinished projects that you're never going to get done, and you begin to focus in on what matters most and what's most important. So after looking at this 7-step process and really understanding your own personal unique productivity style, your homework from this video is to design your perfect workday. What does that perfect day look like? And ask yourself, how close am I to this day? What needs to shift? What am I willing to commit to doing differently so that I can work through these different 7 stages of planning from a place of confidence, from a place of clarity, and from a place of leadership in your creative business? Let's do a quick review of what we covered today. So you discovered that there's 7 practical steps to growing and scaling a profitable creative business. You've learned when you need to do those different steps, how often they need to happen, and hopefully you got some great insights into your own mindset around your relationship with time and your particular productivity style. You've looked at the 9 pillars of productivity and noticed which ones you've absolutely mastered and are doing brilliantly with, and maybe which ones are creating a little area of challenge and that you could probably use a little more clarity and support around. So how are we going to bring all this together? I told you that between these different processes and system, the magic happens But there's one more step that I want to share with you to take it even further, to continue to ramp up the clarity and to boost your confidence so that we make sure that you're on the path to profit and you know how to stay there for the long haul. And I'll be sharing that in a video, in video number 4. It'll be available in just a couple of days. I know you've already picked up a lot of ideas, but I feel like there's just a little bit more to be said to make sure that I've delivered the absolute best value that I can to get you on the way to clarity and confidence, and to just eliminating all the overwhelm, distraction, and frustration that happens so often when we're on the journey to build our creative business. And a lot of you have already been asking questions as well about next steps and about our Creative Business Accelerator. So I'll also take just a little bit of time in that video to share with you what the Creative Business Accelerator is and really take a look at, is this the right next step for me and where I am in my creative business? And I only open enrollment to the Creative Business Accelerator a couple of times a year. And we do this on purpose because we want to bring in an awesome cohort of creatives who can work through the content together, who can provide accountability and support. And I actually will take my focus off of marketing and put my focus right back on totally supporting, nourishing, and creating accountability for all the creatives who join us in the Academy or in the Accelerator, along with the ones who are already there. So I cannot wait to see you in video 4 to put a big, beautiful bow on this planning and productivity process that we've started over the last 3 videos, and to share with you about the magic that happens when we work together, and that when we want to grow our business faster, the secret is to do it in community, to look for places for mentorship, collaboration, and more fun and play. I believe that business building should be fun. It shouldn't be stressful. It can be a little chaotic at times, but that doesn't mean it can't be amazingly fun, fulfilling, and very much on purpose when it comes to our mission in the world and what it is that we want to create. And as with the other 2 videos, I would invite you to please share your comments just right below the video. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any questions or there was something that wasn't clear in the video and you'd like a little more information. I am more than happy to answer all of your questions, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. It's not too late to share the series, so if you feel like you've gotten value from this, please feel free to share it out on Facebook or email the link to a friend. And for now, I want to leave you with this. Just by taking part in this 3-part mini class, you're already experiencing more clarity and ideally more confidence. In video 1, you learned how to plan your business from the inside out. You learned how to really stand in your unique brilliance and to use your core values to make decisions about where you're going in your business. You learned how to articulate your big why and to really get crystal clear about the impact that you want to have on the world. And in video 2, we looked at how do we take that inside vision and bring it out into the world? How do we find the people who really want what it is that we have to offer? And in today, I taught you our entire 7-step process for improving your productivity and your profitability. I taught you the 7 steps for planning the different aspects of your business that instantly eliminate overwhelm. And on a day-to-day basis, you now will know exactly what it's going to take to build your business. And to make it even better, we totally cut to the chase and showed you how to get the best results from everything that we've taught you, the 20% that's going to create 80% of the impact. You no longer need to worry about how to get things done or why other systems don't work for you, because you're building a productivity system that's totally aligned with your unique productivity style. I can't wait to see what's next for you. I'd love to hear your ahas and insights, and I will see you in a couple of days in video 4.